I just spent $12,000 on a piece of original art for a dead game. Was it the best or worst decision I've ever made? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So I did it again, guys. I took my comic book money and I moved it into original art. And you know what? It's not even for comic book original art. It's for, you guessed it, Warcraft art. I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are thinking like Warcraft video. Oh man, I want to move on, swag. Can we talk about comic books? Listen, you're already here. Don't go away. It's going to be a good video. I got a lot of interesting topics. And then maybe more importantly, it's to keep you guys kind of, roped in. I actually have a giveaway for some of the cards that was given to me by the artist who I bought this piece of work from. And then because, cards are the future, I'm going to do a pack rip. Because pack rips are really fun. And I'm going to talk about stuff. We'll talk about comic books. Okay, just hang out. Where are you going to go? Don't you guys like Warcraft? Or do you feel like we all lived the same lives anyways? I mean, didn't we all grow up collecting comic books? And then we all got into like Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis and then PlayStation. We all watched like WWF, Attitude Era, Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and DX. And then we were in college and Warcraft was huge. And there was a freaking World of Warcraft South Park episode. Didn't we all live the same lives? I thought that we did. You think you start to get to know somebody, and then you find out that they don't even like the same stuff you do. Well, too bad, because I like this stuff and I bought it anyways. Okay, swag, carry on with the video here. All right, let's talk about the original art piece that I picked up. If you guys have been watching my channel and following some of the videos I have been doing for original art, you guys know that I'm a big kind of, Warcraft fan. I really, really enjoyed that game. And maybe more importantly than just the game itself, I just thought that the art that came out of that time period, which was like, the fantasy Warcraft of the 2000s era is genre defining. I mean, I absolutely love the aesthetic of that game and all of the work that the artists were doing. So I've been on a big hunt, tracking down a lot of the artists that worked on that type of stuff and seeing if they actually have some of those original pieces for sale. And in this particular case, I actually did end up getting in touch with the artist who had done this particular piece. But let me not kind of bury the lead. Let me show you the piece first, and then I can talk a little bit more about the process. But without further ado, let me show you guys this incredible piece of art that was done for the World of Warcraft trading card game for the Naxxramas Raid deck, done by legendary artist Mike Sutfin. This is a beautiful key art piece for this Naxxramas set featuring Kel'Thuzad. I mean, look at this art, guys. Look at how crazy this piece is that was done for this raid set. Look at the detail in this artistry. Like, I don't know if you guys know the Warcraft game that well. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the characters like Kel'Thuzad and stuff like that, but this is absolutely incredible. A really wild piece of art for this game. If you guys have ever played Warcraft or World of Warcraft, I'm sure you are very, very familiar with Naxxramas. I spent many a nights wiping time after time with my guildmates back in college, which was a lot of fun to do. And later on, I would kind of get into the trading card game, and I'll actually show you the product that was the key art for. This was the trading card raid set. You can kind of play it like a game like Magic the Gathering. Of course, they took the key art for that character, Kel'Thuzad, and they put it on the box art right here. You can see that it's kind of like a wraparound cover, but that's the actual game box that it was used for. And then I think they've kind of reappropriated some of the assets of this piece in different things like Hearthstone and other Warcraft key art pieces for the game from time to time. But yeah, this is an incredible piece. I was so shocked that all these years later, Mike Sutfin actually had this piece available because in truth, he painted this in 2009. So it survived all of these years in his collection. And it was one of the interesting things that, I thought to myself, like, am I making a silly purchase here? Am I overpaying for this thing? Because if I'm the only one that has inquired Tim Mike about if this piece is still available, if I'm the only person that has had any sort of demand for this thing, does that mean that nobody wants it? That was definitely something I was thinking about when I initially reached out to him to kind of reemphasize the process, send him a message asking if he had any of his original pieces for sale. He sent me a list of some of the pieces that he still had, including this one right here. I knew that if I could get this for less than $10,000, it would be an instant buy for me. But he actually ended up quoting it at $12,500, which was a little bit more than I was, initially hoping to pay. In short, there's no real public data of Warcraft pieces selling at that price point. And so it kind of made me think like, well, I don't really know. I mean, I'll probably be somebody who sets the market here if I end up paying that price. But I ended up reaching out to a few people to see if I can actually make him an offer. Like I didn't actually know if, if you talk to an artist and you say like, I know your price is 12.5, but I want to offer you less. Like, is that like super insulting? Are you allowed to negotiate with an artist like you would a comic book dealer or an art dealer or whatever? And the people that I talked to were like, oh yeah, absolutely. You can offer them, something less or see if they'll take, a little bit of a discount. And I did end up offering Mike $12,000 and he happily accepted, which at that point I realized, damn, I should have offered him 11,000. So did I overpay? Maybe, probably. Would this thing get that at auction? I don't really know. It's hard to know with the art world and the opaque nature of it. And that's kind of what makes it fun. That's kind of what makes it interesting. Although I did end up posting this on comicartfans.com immediately after I got it. And somebody reached out to me and did make me an offer that I actually declined. So it made me feel a lot better that there is a bit of a market. I was having this conversation with this art collector and picking their brain about like, if an artist has had a piece for a long time, does that mean that it doesn't have demand? And he said, no, I mean, that's part of the fun of art collecting. I mean, you don't know if the artist has just not decided to sell the piece up until now, or maybe they never, advertised it, or maybe nobody has really reached out to them. And it's really interesting to kind of see that phenomenon occur because, yeah, like this is a piece of art that was available. And when I posted it on Comic Art Fans, like that's when I got offers or people, asking me about is the art for sale and things of that nature. But they also could have just, reached out to this artist. And so, the collector was telling me, fortune favors the bold. I mean, you got to be aggressive in the art market. That's a lot of the fun. That's a lot of the hunt of it. So I've been having a really, really fun time doing that. And who knows? I mean, maybe 10 years from now, people will start to have a little bit more nostalgia for that property. People will start to appreciate that art as being defining within the fantasy genre. Because I know that, at least for me, it was highly influential into the work that I do today, which, of course, I do a lot of creative work for Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. And so I really, really love those pieces, that aesthetic. And I really do think that maybe these are really smart buys that I'm making. But the really cool part is that when Mike sent me the package, which by the way, he was wonderful to work with, highly recommend, he sent me a bunch of extra little goodies. He actually sent me a bunch of World of Warcraft artist proof TCG cards that he signed. And those are going to be the things that I give away in this video. But let me kind of take you guys down memory lane and show off his work for a bit and kind of show you guys why the Warcraft trading card game was so cool. I mean, this is a lot like Magic the Gathering, if you guys had ever played it, or maybe you've played Hearthstone, but they came out with this game that was really, really fun. I played a lot of it. This is right here. It's called Chaos Bolt. This is a warlock spell. I mean, check out his art style. I mean, it's so cool. Searing Pain right there, another warlock spell ability. This is another piece he did. Cursed Vision of Sargeras. Sargeras is the big bad of the Warcraft universe. Kind of a cool card right there. This is a Amani Dragonhawk. One cool thing about the World of Warcraft trading card game is that you could actually open up the packs, and every now and again, the hit or the chase cards would be these things called loot cards. And the loot cards would be able to give you a code that you could redeem in the video game, and that would give you a special, toy or some vanity cosmetic or something like that. And occasionally, they would give you mounts. And the Amani Dragonhawk is actually a card that actually sells for like $500 or $600. This is Dr. Boom right here. Dr. Boom is kind of a classic character if you're a Hearthstone player. Another cool piece. Potentate's Letter Opener. Fun, very Warcrafty weapon. Landro's Gift. This is another loot card that actually sells pretty well on the secondary market because it has a chance to give you a mount. I think people pay a few $100s for that one. Challenging Shout. I mean, look at this. Just classic Giga Chad Warcraft Orc. Arm Wraps of Disdain, another cool trading card that he did. Mind Control. I mean, how many times did I throw off, people on Arathi Basin? If you know, you know. Merciless Gladiator's Pursuit right there. Runesong Dagger, another cool one. And there's another Amani Dragonhawk. This one is actually a foil. So, got to have the foils, which the kids love, of course. Robotic Homing Chicken, kind of a funny thing in the video game that everyone knows about. That's another loot card as well. Alchemist Finkelstein. This is another cool, badass piece of art that he did. I mean, look at the detail and the work on that thing. That is so, so, so good. And then we have another Forge Camp Annihilated. We got Ashnara Frost Herald. And then we got a backstab right there. This is a very famous Hearthstone card that Mike did. And then we have the lobotomizer, a classic World of Warcraft weapon. So very, very cool that Mike sent me these artist proofs. If you guys don't know, artist proofs are the cards that the company will give them. They don't actually have a back on them because they're not meant to be played with, but people can do like sketch cards and things like that. And yeah, he sent these to me because I picked up his art and signed a bunch of them, and I will do a giveaway. So let's do this. If you subscribe to the channel, you like the video, and you just put in the comments section down below the word Warcraft in any context, you can write a sentence about it. You can just put the word, whatever you want to do. And maybe I'll pick like 5 winners or so, and I'll send you guys a card. US only, maybe Canada. All right, let's finish out the video ripping a couple packs because now I'm a card influencer. I mean, I've already gone to a card show. Maybe I can be a Warcraft TCG YouTube channel. I think there's probably a pretty low ceiling with that one. I mean, I don't really know if anybody cares about this stuff, but I do. I think it's fun. You know, I went to the Front Row Card Show and I did make that video that came out yesterday that I was talking about how I went to see if there's any sealed product for it, but you can't find sealed product. It's just not that popular, or, you know, people don't really even want to bring it anymore. So, all right, we're going to open this up. I have a bunch of this stuff and let's see what I get because I'm looking for some loot cards and the Lich King. It would be kind of cool to get that. Let's do it together. Kind of quickly flip through, you know, some of the things. Oh, yeah. Haslo Murder Shuggle. This is a reused art for the what do you call it? Hearthstone for sure. This is also a reused art for Hearthstone. Brown and Lightborn. If you guys don't know, they made this TCG, and then after the TCG came out, when they kind of put it to the side, they ended up turning this game into Hearthstone, and they kind of reused all these art assets for that game, and which is kind of sad because I much preferred this physical card game compared to that of the Hearthstone variety. I feel like this game had a little more edge to it. You know, I like the art style of the Warcraft that was, you know, 2004 to like 2013 or so. The game, if you guys have been following the culture of Warcraft, has gotten just a lot cartoony. It's just not as cool as it used to be. Payment of Blood. There's your first uncommon right there. Here's another uncommon, Primal Taming. And then we got Fell Inferno. So you get the uncommons. And there's another Spirit Totem. They had the quest cards. I won't explain that in this one. And then now you get your big hits, if you do get a hit. So Arcane Dust, let's pull it aside. And we got Argent Confessor Palatrus. Okay, uncommon. All right, we got a blue right there, which is, your rare, Swift Palomino. And then Banshee Soul Claimer, which is, I think they just add an extra card at the end of the pack right there. So doesn't look like we got very lucky with that one. That's all right. Let's open up the next one. So yeah, I don't know. TCGs are the next big thing. TCG market, a lot more popular than comic books right now. Hope you guys enjoyed that video and like me talking about my perspective on the card shows versus comic book shows. All right, we got Grim Tusk, Bitter Cold Arm Guards. There we go, another one of Lightborn. Nice Mantle, Boon, Divert, Bloodfire, Embrace, Moonshot, Strong Hoof, Fortify, Paralyze. That's another Naxxramas one right there. Prayer Spirit. That's a cool piece of art. All right. Did we get something cool? Let's kind of check this out. Eternal Fire. All right. We got Dalrin the Controller. We got the Skybreaker. There's our blue. And we got Stone Spine Gargoyle. So we didn't get any hits. Unlucky. Never lucky. Well, there you have it, guys. That was my pack rip. That's what people do in cards. I had a lot of fun. Well, that's all for this video. That was me showing off my new Warcraft piece. Definitely, next step is going to be off to the framer, and I'm going to put it on the wall behind me, and then I'm going to continue my search for Warcraft original artwork. Am I buying stuff that is going to Zero Town? Who knows? But I really like it. Anyways, that's all for this video. Let me know what you guys think about all these topics. What do you guys think about art these days? How are you guys feeling about collectibles in general, whether it be cards or comics or art or graded video games? And we haven't had many conversations about that on this channel, and maybe we should. Anyways, that's all for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all in the next video.